Hello and welcome to another Steps of Sussex channel episode, and today we are talking about the Byline Investigates article, which has made some very serious allegations. By the way, we are in a new location, a different location. This video, we are in my office. So hello and welcome to my office. Now, I have decided to do this as a live chat so that I can interact with you guys, which I think is always, it's my preferred way of doing things. I would much rather do a live chat where I can interact with viewers rather than literally sitting down and just doing a pre-recorded piece. That's not kind of a bad. Sometimes I do those sorts of videos, but I very much prefer a discussion type video. So hello and welcome. Also, do let me know at the start of this video and in the comments below, do you want me to launch channel members for YouTube like what I have on Royal Reviewer? Because I think I can have them on Steps of Sussex, because now we have over 5,000 subscribers on this channel. I think I'm able to make live, to set up channel members for this one. That means I'll be able to put Harry and Meghan related emojis for channel members to use in the live chats and comments. And also, obviously, if you are a channel member, your name shows up in green and all that kind of things. So do let me know if you're interested in that, because I can set it up if you would like to support beyond watching the videos. Right. Beverly says he's got to get that mole cut off. Yeah, well, okay. I mean, I'm sure this story has been out, I think, for about 3 days. So do excuse my slow response on this. But this is the sort of story that I like to kind of sit back on a while, because things often develop. Sometimes when you have breaking news stories, they change really quickly, especially when there are certain replies and responses to the initial story, which we have actually seen with this case, because one of the key characters, one of the key figures who was named, did actually respond to the Byline Investigates article. So who are the key figures in all of this? Well, at the centre of it, of course, we have Kensington Palace. We have the Kensington Palace Communications Secretary, Christian Jones. We have his partner, boyfriend, Callum Stevens. And we have Dan Wootton, who is a journalist. Predominantly, I think, works for The Sun, but I think he also does other things as well. So those are the kind of the key characters in all this. Oh, and also Harry, of course. Because, and I say Harry because it is alleged, and of course at this point in time we don't actually have any proof that Harry has actually launched a legal letter, as is mentioned in the article, against what's going on. However, you know, it's possible, it's probably likely that he has actually taken legal action about it. But all I'm saying is we just don't have any concrete proof. A spokesperson, as far as I'm aware, for the Sussexes has not confirmed this story. So we need to bear that in mind. Also, at the top of this video, we need to bear in mind that all of this at the moment is allegations. And we have to be very careful when we are talking and dealing with talking about legal issues where there are allegations made. So I've kind of highlighted bits of the Byline article that I think are important. So I'm going to kind of go through it, and the format of how I will do this video is I will stop after I've read certain parts and then discuss it, and I will turn to the comments to see what you guys are saying as well. So Byline, they published their article, like I say, about 3 days ago, and at the top of the article, they said that they are defying threats of legal action from Rupert Murdoch's The Sun. Obviously, Rupert Murdoch controls and owns The Sun, to report explosive whistleblower claims, and I do stress claims, that the tabloid paid the partner of a royal official £4,000 for stories about Prince Harry last year. Now, think back to the time when all of these kind of stories were coming out. You know, I myself, I remember sitting here talking to you guys, saying, that, I don't know where this information is coming from. There was talk about a mole at the palace. Some people were questioning whether it was William and Catherine directly themselves that were leaking information. It led to all kinds of speculation. And also, we didn't necessarily know whether what was being leaked to the press was true or not. But now, obviously, the claims are coming in. And it seems like Prince Harry and Meghan may have got to the bottom of it. They may have unearthed and found this mole. There was a mole in the palace, and it may have been uncovered. So, Dan Wootton, news reporter for The Sun, have said, and the newspaper themselves have said to Byline that they will sue if they report the allegations, which are detailed in a formal letter before action issued by lawyers acting for the Duke of Sussex. So Byline are claiming to know. I cannot confirm or deny this because I haven't seen any evidence of it, but Byline are claiming that the Duke of Sussex has launched legal action against that particular news group. So it follows months of public speculation about a close connection between Mr. Wootton and the Sussex's former communications secretary, Christian Jones, who continues to be employed in the role by Prince William and Catherine, and whose partner is a freelance publicist, Callum Stevens, who is also a friend of Wootton's. So, to put that in some kind of context, basically, Christian Jones was the former communications secretary of Harry and Meghan. Now, Harry and Meghan didn't have any choice. He was appointed, so he was their former communications secretary. He once Harry and Meghan decided to step back from public duties, he was retained by Kensington Palace, so he's still employed by William and Catherine. And his partner, Callum Stevens, is a friend of Dan Wootton. So what they are all alleging is that it's alleged that Callum Stevens, Christian Jones rather, may have been discussing, I think this is what they're saying, may have been discussing what was going on at work with Callum Stevens, and then Callum Stevens was running to Dan Wootton, allegedly, to write all of these articles. So sources close to the matter say it is alleged the Sun made 2 payments amounting to £4,000 to Stevens in relation to stories published in June and July of 2019 about, and I'm sure you can remember all of the nannying stories, the godparent stories relating, of course, to Archie, and that the payments appear to have been identified by way of an internal News UK accounting code. So apparently there are actual receipts that money was received or paid. It probably shows that it was paid to this Callum Stevens. So anyway, confidential details of the Sussex's move to Canada were revealed, as we know, in an unauthorised fashion and published on The Sun in January under Dan Wootton's name. Now, he said at the time that he had 3 sources with knowledge of the case. Now, the result of this, it brought forward Harry and Meghan's decision to go public with what obviously Dan Wootton had found out, allegedly from his source, which we now, believe to be this kind of mole issue. So obviously the damage caused to the royal family by the story was extensive. It forced Prince Harry to rush forward the announcement, impacting potentially on the relationship between the Queen, his father, and his brother William. And of course, it kind of caught Harry and Meghan and the royal family on the back foot, because Harry and Meghan did say that they had talks, they had discussions with the royal family about their desire to step back from public life and become financially independent. Although finalization of details had not been reached. It wasn't, discussions were not at that stage when it seems that Harry and Meghan were forced by this story, by this mole leak, to go public too early. Because, like I said, then we had all of this speculation over what was going to happen before it was even finalised. So, it did put everybody in an uncomfortable, unfortunate position before they were ready to do so themselves. Now, the article does state that there is no suggestion that the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge were party to this. In fact, if I read it exactly, there is no suggestion the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge had any knowledge at the time of unauthorised briefings to the press. And I'm sure everyone is going to have their own opinions on that. All I will say is there is no proof. There is no evidence that William and Catherine authorised the leak to the boyfriend and therefore vicariously to Dan Wootton. There is no suggested connection to the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, and I am sure that people will choose to believe whatever they want to believe. But the cold hard facts at this stage of this issue is that the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge had no knowledge of what was going on. Now, the one thing that I would say is that if there has been a leak via a staff member's partner or a staff member's family member, that does, in my mind, require an investigation. Now, I do have written down, I believe that that any such investigation is not actually carried out by Kensington Palace. It should be subject of an internal investigation by Buckingham Palace's HR and security department. So those are the people who should be investigating it. Now, some people are saying that an investigation is going ahead. Obviously, we have no official comment on that, but it will be telling because obviously, if Christian Jones and his appointment suddenly ends with Kensington Palace and William and Catherine, then I think we'll be able to tell which way that investigation has gone. But no, it is a serious royal breach. I cannot stress enough, if you have a member of staff who is then talking about their day, talking about what is going on to their partner, who is friends of a journalist, and also, those stories are being published, you would imagine that Christian Jones would probably realise that it was his partner at the time who was leaking that information. Where else could it possibly have come from, allegedly? So, yes, I do think most definitely an investigation should be taking place if it is not already. And, of course, the full force of whatever that investigation finds should most definitely go ahead. Byline Investigates put questions to Dan Wootton and News UK about the developing story last Saturday, which was actually the 30th of May. Both acted quickly, say Byline Investigates, to shut the story down. News UK has not commented on the record, but immediately responded by issuing a legal letter. And its position said that it had done nothing unlawful, and that's in quotes, in sourcing its stories, and had made no illegal payments, and that it will sue Byline Investigates if they report Prince Harry's new allegations. So Byline Investigates are quite adamant that they are sure that Prince Harry has made these allegations. Again, like I say, we have no actual evidence of that. But by the by, they say that they have done nothing unlawful in sourcing the stories, and that they have made no illegal payments. So they're not saying that they haven't sourced the stories, they're just saying that their way of sourcing it wasn't unlawful, and they are saying they made no illegal payments, but they are not saying that they didn't make any payments, they're just saying the payments were not illegal. Well, if it does come to a court case, that will obviously all come out in the wash. Now, The one thing that I will note is that this story is quite a big story. You know, having a mole, a potential royal mole exposed in this way is a big story. And I have to say that there has been a lack of coverage in the mainstream media. Online, you can find it. You know, there are royal commentators talking about it online, but there are no official headlines. And I think that has a lot to do with perhaps the tabloid. Maybe they feel a little bit rattled by Harry and Meghan's legal actions against the tabloids already. Also, the bypassing of these tabloid publications. So perhaps they don't want to report on it. Also, maybe they have access to the same sources that are in question in this article. So there is a question about why this is not being reported in the mainstream media. I would hazard a guess it is possibly because they use, maybe all the newspapers, especially the tabloid ones, use the same kind of sources that the Sun did. Maybe they have had access to the same kind of information in the same kind of way. But also, I think there is a little bit of a backlash against Harry and Meghan for coming out and saying that they do not want to have any ties, any links, any communication going forward with all of those tabloid publications which they basically shut down. Right. Now, the newspaper, I do believe, declined to answer any questions, including whether Stevens was paid at all for the stories, but they didn't deny it, or on any plans to allow independent scrutiny over its own investigation into the matter. So apparently they are investigating the matter internally themselves, but it is not independent. Again, they refused to confirm that that was even taking place, but which this Byline Investigates understands has conducted in response to Prince Harry's legal challenge. So, Byline Investigates think that the newspaper has launched an internal investigation, but that internal investigation is not independent, is what that paragraph is all about. So, it said that Dan Wootton has not commented on the record, but his lawyers are denying in strong terms that any payments were made unlawfully to a public official or a proxy, and claim that their client is victim of a smear campaign by unknown bad actors. So neither Dan Wootton or News UK has clarified to Byline Investigates whether it meant the word unlawful in a criminal sense or in a civil sense, or both. Dan Wootton says he is prepared to defend his position in court and that he will prove his professional integrity if need be. Now, a legal expert has said, now I do not know who this legal expert is, but they have said whatever the case and whether it does indeed involve Jones, someone has been definitely briefing the Sun about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's private and family life, which is clearly a matter which requires serious investigation, not least to prevent the misidentification of the person responsible and quash social media speculation. Well, whoever this legal expert is, I would say that, there has been, it seems most likely that there has been a mole giving stories about Harry and Meghan's private and family life. I agree that it is an issue which requires serious investigation, and I do hope that Buckingham Palace is involved in investigating how these leaks have got out. And I again agree that all of the speculation on social media is not helpful when we don't have cold hard facts. So Byline Investigates has kind of responded to the notion of being sued themselves by saying that given the matters involved a public official still working for second in line to the throne, Prince William, and a company, obviously, with their alleged past with certain allegations against them, We believe there is a public interest in writing this article and that there are reasonable grounds to expect a transparent process of investigation. The legal expert, again, don't know who it is, said these whistleblower claims have caused panic at The Sun. It's obviously a highly sensitive topic. Well, it is indeed. And Kensington and Buckingham Palace for different reasons. In quotes, there appears to have been specific targeted intelligence which Prince Harry's lawyers deem credible enough to act on with a legal letter. Their professional obligations would not allow them to simply issue such a letter without basis. Dan Wootton has denied criminality but does not say there were no payments for the stories, just that he acted lawfully. And he will resort to legal methods to close down reporting on the matter. So there has actually been a response. Byline has updated its website since the initial publication of the article online. They say, since publication, we have been contacted by Christian Jones, who tells us that he was in no way responsible for and or facilitated and or condoned or turned a blind eye to leaking to The Sun confidential information concerning the Duke and Duchess of Sussex in return for payments made to his partner Callum Stevens, including their nannying arrangements and identity of Archie's godparents. Mr. Jones tells us that he has played absolutely no part, whether directly or indirectly, in any alleged leaks of such information to The Sun or to any other media outlet or any third party. He also denies leaking information about the Sussexes' planned move to Canada. So, going by what he has said, he has categorically denied flatly any of the allegations that are being made by Byline Investigates. So I'm going to turn at the moment to the comments, and I'm going to read a few and see exactly what people are saying. Lots of people commenting about it. Cynthia says, is Christian Jones still with Kensington Palace? Yes, I do believe so at the moment, although obviously, if an investigation goes ahead and it finds that perhaps his boyfriend was the source of the leaks, there are good grounds to perhaps maybe dismiss him. I mean, that would be entirely up to Buckingham Palace to investigate fully. There would have to be a legal basis to remove him from his position. I've seen on social media a lot of accusations towards William and Catherine saying, well, they should get rid of him. You can't just get rid of somebody because you have a suspicion of what they may or may not have done. People in the UK are protected by employment law. There are laws in place where an employer in the UK cannot just dismiss somebody. You can suspend somebody, perhaps, if you have reason to investigate them, which is why I say it's very important to watch and find out perhaps any reports that maybe he has been suspended, or maybe even if he resigns, or maybe even it doesn't look like he will resign because he's issued such a categorical denial of it. But no, you cannot just dismiss someone here in the UK. So those comments, saying William and Catherine should sack him, dismiss him, that is not helpful, because William and Catherine are not in a position to do so unless an investigation, an internal investigation, can prove that he had something to do with those leaks. Then you have basis, you have grounds to dismiss someone here in the UK. So there is a legal issue there in removing him from his position without basis or ground. So I will say that categorically. DB says, Harry did say in the ITV interview that if we know what he knew, we would do the same. So it was obvious that it was about some major betrayal from his family. Also lots of leaks. Well, we do not know. Like I say, we do not know. There is no evidence that William and Catherine knew that, that what's being alleged may have happened or may not have happened. So we can't say that. That is just speculation. But Prince Harry, I think, must have known that somebody somewhere was leaking information. And, I think, he has put two and two together. In fact, if I go back to the document, it kind of, it details how that there were suspicions about what was going on. So let me just find the bit that I'm talking about. Here we go. The connections between Wotton and Jones have been the subject of public conjecture for some time, and this is what I'm reading from Byline Investigates. Originally coming to the attention of news and gossip website Pop Bitch late last summer, shortly after the publication of two articles on which it is understood Prince Harry's new case is partly based. In its weekly mail-out on August the 1st, 2019, Pop Bitch wrote, "It was curious seeing Dan Wotton give Meghan Markle both barrels this week. You'd think he'd be a little more friendly, given that he's such good pals with Wills and Kate's press secretary." This was followed after Wotton's exclusively revealed the Sussexes' plans to move to Canada on the Sun's front page by an article on Laney Gossip on the 9th of January this year, speculating about Jones being a source. The story read, "And if that is indeed the source, it's a major breach considering the Sun is one of the newspapers that Harry and Meghan are suing," which relates back to my earlier comment about why potentially the mainstream tabloid media are not covering this story. Amid much chat on Twitter, and we know there are lots of twits on Twitter, but anyway, amid much chat on Twitter, do not believe everything you read on Twitter. The thread was continued by the mainstream media with USA Today on January the 10th, recapping the speculation over the Canada announcement for its readers, citing Laney Gossip and writing, and I quote, "The Sussexes have managed for weeks to keep their plans on lock, even enjoying most of their holiday on the west coast of Canada before it leaked. And suddenly they get home and visit Canada House, and Dan Wotton has an exclusive for the Sun and just happens to be friends with Will and Kate's press secretary. Confidence or conspiracy? Question mark." So there has been gossip and speculation. Maybe it was that online gossip and speculation that fueled Harry, that prompted Harry to put two and two together. We do not know. Let's have a look. Sophia says, "Stop it, these leaks against his own brother. They should be able to do something." Unfortunately, legally you cannot dismiss somebody. You cannot dismiss an employee without proper proven basis, which is why it is so important that an investigation takes place. And if an investigation has not taken place or is not taking place, that is the time to start screaming from the rooftops that something is up. But at the moment, it's too early to know, or for them to comment on an internal investigation about what the outcome of that is. So no, there are legal protections in place that prevents people from just being dismissed. I don't know if that is the case in any other country where you may live, but in the UK there are very strict and stringent employment laws which prevent an employer from just simply dismissing someone without grounds and basis. And just merely speculation, alleged speculation, rumour, gossip is not a legal basis to dismiss somebody here in the UK. You can, however, suspend somebody on pending investigation, because there would actually be a breach of confidentiality. Royal employees are made to sign confidentiality agreements, very stringent and very strict confidentiality agreements. So if it can be proven that he is vicariously the source of the leaks, then, or he was the person fueling the mole, then obviously that would be basis, but that has to be proven. You cannot just dismiss somebody. Kathy says, "True, I think proof will be found. It's the same in the USA." Right. Okay, I think I think that is this story covered, to be quite honest. I mean, there's nothing more I can say. I mean, I will say again that all of this is allegations at the moment. Nothing has been proven in any of this. I think Byline Investigates would also very much agree with that assessment. It is believed that there is legal action being taken by Prince Harry, and obviously we know all about what those allegations are. And just reading Chantel N6's comment down the bottom, who says he shouldn't get fired for allegedly following the orders of William. Again, that is another issue that we do not know. We cannot say whether or not William and Catherine knew about it. At the moment, Byline Investigates, the source article of all of this says that there are no suggestions that William and Catherine knew or were involved in this. And looking at it literally, my assessment of what it most likely is that you have someone who works for the royal family who may have gone home to his partner and spoken about his day. We all sometimes do it. We all often talk to our friends and family, even when we maybe shouldn't, about what's been going on in our employment. Now, there is no suggestion even that Christian Jones knew that what his boyfriend is alleged to have done was taking place. So there is a whole chain of people, of communications, where there are allegations but nothing proven that any of them knew anything. So we can't say that William and Catherine knew about what Christian Jones was saying to his boyfriend and being leaked. We can't say that the employee, Christian Jones, knew what his boyfriend was leaking. And there is no proof at the moment that his boyfriend did anything anyway. So there is, at the moment, a lot of speculation, a lot of allegations, and no actual proof. And that is so important to keep in mind. We all have our opinions. We are all entitled to our opinions. But at the moment, if we are going on the factual information, what I have just told you are the facts. Right, I am now going to go because I'm conscious of time. I've been talking about this story for 32 minutes. I do hope that we've had a really good discussion about all of this, and obviously this is an ongoing story, so I will update you as and when we hear any more information. So if you've enjoyed this video and found it useful, please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share on social media, and also of course do hit the bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. Also, please do remember to subscribe to the channel. So from me in Shropshire, to you all, stay safe and goodbye.